If you're anything like me, 6'5", 250 pounds of pure muscle physique, you've probably gotten used to countless web dev terms that you use regularly but hope no one asks you to explain. Concepts that you work with on a daily basis but can't define. You know what they say, you don't truly understand something until you can explain it to a beginner. In this video, we're going through 25 essential web development buzzwords you've probably heard of and even used, but can't quite explain. Before we get into the deep technical stuff, let's start off with something we all care about: how a website actually feels to use and develop. UI stands for user interface, what users see and click, buttons, layouts, colors, etc. UX is the user experience, how it feels to use your app, from speed to clarity to even emotional vibe. And DX is the developer experience, how smooth it is for developers to build, test, and maintain the product. SEO, or search engine optimization, is about making your website easier for search engines like Google to understand and rank. That means using clear HTML, fast load times, mobile-friendly design, good page structure, and meaningful content. Responsive design means your website automatically adjusts to look good on any screen size, whether it's a phone, tablet, or desktop. It uses flexible layouts, media queries, and scalable elements so users get a smooth experience no matter what device they're on. WCAG is a set of international standards that define how to make websites accessible to people with disabilities, like users who rely on screen readers or navigate by keyboard. It covers things like text contrast, alternative text for images, and semantic HTML. Following WCAG helps make your website more inclusive and in many cases legally compliant. The user experience is crucial, but so is protecting your users and your app. These next terms are at the core of web security. CSRF, or cross-site request forgery, is an attack where a malicious site tricks a logged-in user into unknowingly performing actions on another site, like changing their email or sending a message. Because the browser includes cookies automatically, the server thinks the request is legit mode, unless extra protection is in place. And by extra protection, I mean a CSRF token, a unique secret value sent with each sensitive request, something that the malicious site can't access. If the token is missing or invalid, the server says hell no to the request, keeping your users safe. A JSON Web Token, or JWT, is a compact token used for authentication and authorization. It typically contains a header, payload, and signature, and can be verified without querying a database, making it ideal for stateless authentication. CORS, or Cross-Origin Resource Sharing, that's a tongue twister, is a browser security feature that controls which domains can access your APIs. By default, browsers block requests between different domains unless the server explicitly allows it. It's controlled through response headers and helps prevent unauthorized cross-origin requests. Oh my goodness, a classic. SQL injection is a security vulnerability where an attacker tricks your app into running malicious SQL by injecting it into input fields, like a login form. If your code directly runs user input in a query without proper protection, someone could access, change, or even delete data in your database. Next up, let's take a look at how modern front-end frameworks render and update what users see. The Document Object Model, or DOM, is a structured tree representation of HTML elements in a web page. Each element, like a div, a button, or a paragraph, is a node on the tree. JavaScript can interact with the DOM to dynamically update content and styles without reloading the page. The virtual DOM is a lightweight in-memory representation of the actual DOM. Frameworks like React use it to efficiently update the UI by comparing the virtual DOM to a previous version and applying only the changes to the real DOM. SSR, or server-side rendering, involves rendering your application's HTML on the server and sending the fully pre-rendered page to the browser. This improves performance and SEO because content is visible before JavaScript even kicks in. CSR, or client-side rendering, renders content in the browser using JavaScript. The server sends a mostly empty HTML shell, and JavaScript fills in the content. This enables highly interactive apps, but can delay the initial page load. Frameworks like Next.js allow for a combination of SSR and CSR content within the same page. You've probably run into one or two hydration errors in your time. Hydration is when JavaScript takes over server-rendered HTML and adds interactivity, like event listeners and state. It's common in frameworks like React and Next.js. However, if the server and the client don't match exactly, you might get the dreaded hydration error. Alright, next up, let's talk about making your apps faster and smoother for both users and developers. Debounce, or as I like to call it, debounce, is a technique that waits for a pause in activity before running a function, like waiting until a user stops typing before firing a search request. It helps avoid flooding your app with unnecessary actions, especially in events like keystrokes, window resizing, or form inputs. On the other hand, throttling controls how often a function is allowed to run, like once every 200 milliseconds. It helps improve performance and avoid overwhelming your app with rapid-fire events like scrolling or resizing. A service worker is a script that runs in the background of your web app. It can intercept network requests, cache resources, and enable offline functionality, key for building progressive web apps. A PWA, or a progressive web app, is an app that feels like a native one. It can work offline, load fast, and even be installed on your device like a regular app. It uses tools like service workers, manifests, and caching to deliver a smooth, app-like experience directly from the browser. How exciting. Middleware is software that intercepts and processes requests before they reach your route handler. A middleware function can handle tasks like authentication, rerouting, and logging. Alright, and to wrap things up, let's talk about how web apps actually talk to each other. An application programming interface, or API, tells other apps or users what they can ask for and how to ask for it. When you send a request to an API, it gives you back data or performs an action behind the scenes. It's how the front end talks to the back end, or how different apps connect. Representational state transfer, or REST, is an architectural style for designing network applications. It uses standard HTTP request methods like GET, POST, PUT, and DELETE, and is stateless, which means that each request must contain all the information the server needs to process it. GraphQL is a query language for APIs that lets clients request exactly the data they need. Unlike REST, which returns fixed data structures, GraphQL allows dynamic and nested queries, reducing over and under fetching. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, and Delete, the four basic operations most software applications can perform. If you ever built a to-do list, a blog, or a user dashboard, you've made a CRUD app. WebSockets let your app and the server stay connected and talk to each other in real time. Unlike regular HTTP, where the client has to ask for updates, WebSockets let the server send data instantly whenever it needs to. Perfect for chat apps, live notifications, or anything that needs to update fast without refreshing. A race condition happens when multiple operations run at the same time and the outcome depends on which one finishes first. It can lead to unpredictable bugs, especially in asynchronous code. And there we have it, the big 2-5. Hopefully a few of them finally clicked, or at least now you know how to explain them to your interviewer. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and maybe drop a comment with a term you still secretly Google every time. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.